Assembly Member Hall.
Morning, Mr. Mayor. We're talking about the budget, and I can honestly say I have never known so many people be so concerned about the budget next week. Everybody is. Everybody's talking about it. And of course, all these kites getting flown all the time. And Lindsay Hoyle, who you all know is the Speaker of the House, referred to it as a hokey-cokey budget. The problem is this just puts businesses in a bad position. It puts all of us in a bad position. So many of the homes in London are going to get caught by this mansion tax if that goes ahead. Were you surprised at the new poll that was on the front page of today's Mail, which found that 0% of Britons now believe that the economy is in a very good state? Absolutely nobody.
Can I do the first part of the question before I do the second part, which is I agree with her in terms of the concern it has, the concern businesses and individuals feel when they see leaks or briefings in advance of a budget. I think that, there's a very good reason why historically, budgets should be kept quiet until the day of the budget, because obviously it can set hairs going and stuff, but also lead to the sort of concern she's talking about. In relation to the second issue, look, I know from previous experience, polls go up and down. The most important poll that matters is election day. If I'd believe the polls when I was running to be mayor last time, she'd be the mayor.
I know. I know. Nobody knows that better than me, Mr. Mayor. Nobody knows that better than me. I mean, we have got chaos out there, and we definitely, that is not good for businesses, it's not good for people. I went to see a chemist in Finchley the other day. He's very concerned about everything, including shoplifting. Are you going to try and get some more money into the police service? It's not just for shoplifting. This chemist has to lock his front door, which is people are then turning away because he's had so much stolen. If we're looking at extra money, and you'll know the thing I talk about all the time now is we are going to have to put a load more detectives looking into these rape gang investigations. The police are £260 million short. We are losing officers from every single division, it would appear. And yesterday I asked your deputy mayor, have we got extra people on the safer neighbourhood teams? Well, she then gave me a load of stats on how very well she thinks they're doing. Didn't answer. But the truth is that we've lost 12 police officers in total and only gained 2 PCSOs off the front line, the neighbourhood teams. We desperately need more money into the Metropolitan Police, desperately. Have you asked the government for that?
Can I thank her for a question? Can I just do with both parts of the question? Firstly, I also share conversations with small businesses, and they echo what she said about their concern in relation to the macroeconomics, but also their concern in relation to shoplifting. The police call this, and sorry to impersonalise it, but high-volume crime for obvious reasons. And so what the police have done in the last period is focus, at the same time as keeping focus on homicides and violence against women and girls, which I'll come to, but focus on high-volume crime. And it's paying dividends, first giving shop owners confidence to report this crime, because many of them stopped reporting it because they didn't see any action being taken. Also, it should be pleased to know the police are using some of their live facial recognition, but also retrospective facial recognition, because often shops have CCTV, but they don't bother sharing it because they don't see the point. They're now sharing it, and the police are making lots of arrests because it's the same organised criminal groups often involved in this issue. And so we hope to see more progress in relation to shoplifting going down. The second issue she raises is incredibly important, is more resources for our police service. And I'm incredibly proud I'm the mayor that more than doubled City Hall investment for the police service at the same time as them losing £1.1 billion. One of my asks to the government has been in relation to additional resources for the police, and I'll share the letter so colleagues can see. I am worried about the cumulative impact of cuts on policing in London at the same time as pressures go up. I mentioned in answer to Krupa Sharani's question the pressures of being an international and capital city grant, but that can't mean we can't do the bread and butter stuff in terms of shoplifting, violence against women and girls, violent crime and so forth. So I can give her that assurance. I will continue to lobby the government for more resources for our great city, particularly in terms of policing.
And will you also lobby the government on trying to not be in such a chaotic state? The chaos is causing problems for business. The chaos is worrying Londoners. And Rachel Reeves has got absolutely no support. She is so bad. I mean, Sadiq Khan, Keir Starmer rather, says...
yeah,
nearly put it... Well, actually, talking about the mayor getting promotion, I do hope you're not vexed, because at the moment the number 10 office is trying to put the knife into so many cabinet members because they think they want to stand to be the PM. I hope you're not offended that they're not attacking you in that way. Maybe Andy Burnham. Do you think that Keir Starmer will still be the Prime Minister for the next election?
Chair, Keir Starmer's got my full support. Can I just say this? I as mayor, I've run out of count the number of Prime Ministers. David Cameron, Theresa May, remember her?
But they were all better
Boris
than Keir
Johnson,
Starmer.
Boris Johnson.
Every single one of them. Even Liz Truss was better than Keir Starmer.
I think somebody followed Liz Truss. I forgot who now. I mean, just, it's just. I can
so
also
do you
list
think
the
he will still be Prime Minister for the next election?
I hope he does. I think the inheritance that this Labour government's had to deal with has been just awful. What they're trying to do is fix the foundations. And from there try and address.
It's not washing, Mr. Mayor. None of us believe it. None of us believe it, and we're all dreading next week. Thank you, Chairman.
Well, I mean, I think the members got huge experience with over the last 14 years in terms of chaos. And I think what the country needs is calm, stability.
Thank you, Mr.
Calm,
Mayor.
and that's what Keir
Out of time. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? I'm now going to move on to Assembly Member Bakari. Now, we've got... Sorry. Apologies. Assembly Member Ahmed on this question.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, we've talked about, you've just referred to the 14 years of chaos preceding this government. As you know, and everybody in this chamber in London knows, the Met was put under extreme financial pressure because of 14 years of austerity under the last government, and that led to police officers falling to as low as 30,000. And of course, it would have been a lot worse if you hadn't taken the decisive action that you took to increase funding from City Hall to record levels. Do you remember the Assembly Member Hall, speaking out against these damaging cuts, or supporting your investment from City Hall to keep Londoners safe at the time?
Well, I thank the member for her question. I can remember as a Member of Parliament in London for 11 years, during those 8 years where the previous mayor was in City Hall. On no occasion did I recall a Conservative member complaining about police stations closing down, neighbourhood teams being stripped bare. And every year since I've been mayor, when I've increased investment to the police through City Hall, our budget's voted down an attempt is made to vote down our budget by the Conservatives. So when they cry crocodile tears about more investment in the police, at the same time as voting against increased investment, that's one of the reasons why in London they lose elections again and again and again.
Chairman,
thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Chair.
Sorry.
I was mentioned, so I'm allowed to say something, albeit small.
You're always allowed to say something, Susan, but whether you should is another thing. But
it is in my DNA.
You want to say something.
I do. The thing I want to say is that you can always throw an awful lot at me, but I have always supported our Metropolitan Police 100%, and everybody in this chamber should know they need more money, because if we want to be kept safe, the Metropolitan Police need more money. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, right. Can we just move on? Because actually, you're all being very creative in terms of your interventions. Too creative. Assembly Member Bakari, but we have two allied questions. I'm giving the option to members in a planned way whether they wish to come in. I think Assembly Member Mohima is a question later on the agenda that we should group, and Assembly Member Roberts. They're housing related rather than planning related, I'm assuming. That's why I suggest we might group them. We need to give the Mayor a chance. If you want the formal answer the Mayor that would have given to your question, indicate that. It's up to you as members. Assembly Member Bakari.
Thank you, Chair. Can I thank the member for a question? I'm proud of my track record in delivering the affordable and accessible housing London needs. London was delivering over 45,000 net additional homes per year just before the pandemic, the largest number of additional homes completed in London since the 1930s. Council housing starts under my mayoralty reached their highest level since the 1970s, and in 2023, councils in London were building more than double the rest of the country combined. I'm also proud of the action we've taken in making homes accessible. The London Plan 2021 is a trailblazer on accessible housing targets, leading the way nationally. For example, Policy D7 requires 10% of new homes delivered in London to be wheelchair user, M4-3 homes, and the remainder to be accessible and adaptable homes, M4 subsection 2. Between January 2021 and September 2025, 61,000 children 49 M42 and 8,975 M43 housing completions were recorded in the Planning London Data Hub. This is a testament to the important role the London Plan plays in driving up accessible housing delivery. However, I know that since Brexit, the pandemic and Liz Truss's mini-budget, house building has declined, both in London and nationally, and we know that accessible housing delivery is likely to be impacted by the same macroeconomic factors. I'm delighted to have now launched the London Social and Affordable Homes Programme, which is a key pillar of our response. It will deliver thousands more of the social and affordable homes London needs, and our planning requirements will work to drive up the number of them which are accessible. The new London Social and Affordable Homes Programme will also make capital funding available to support partners to deliver specialist and supported housing. It will increase the supply of housing for people with care, support and supervision needs, including for disabled Londoners. As part of the development of the next London Plan, we've consulted on towards the new London Plan document earlier this year. We're also due to publish a disability in housing research note in conjunction with the draft London Plan next year and the strategic housing market assessment. This will help further inform the need for accessible housing. My team are also working to improve City Hall's own data, including improvements to the data collection for 21-26 Affordable Homes Programme and the data collected via the Planning London Data Hub.
Thank you for your answer, Mr Mayor. Your own published data does show that London is consistently failing to meet its accessible housing targets. Fewer than a half of new homes meet the minimum accessible and adaptable standard when it should be 90%. Why are these targets still being missed? And you've mentioned programmes, but what in those programmes that you've mentioned are the concrete steps that you will take right now to turn around this and so that disabled Londoners can live in homes that are safe, suitable and genuinely accessible?
Well, I'm not sure if the figures you said, the figures that I've got. The figures I've got is 61,249 accessible and adaptable, and 8,975 are a wheelchair user as well. There has been a massive slump in terms of all new homes. That clearly affects these homes as well. But I'll ask my team to look at the figures she said. I'm not saying they're wrong, by the way, but let me just look at the figures she said, because they're not the figures that I've got.
Inclusion London has been working with me and talking to me about some of the challenges that they're facing in terms of looking at this data, and they would say that they are not meeting your targets. Will your policy shift of enabling affordable housing quotas to drop to 20% on some developments directly increase the number of accessible houses in the capital? And will you commit to using the 322 million City Hall Developer Fund to increase the numbers?
Yeah, can I thank you for a question? It's really important. So the purpose of the emergency measures is to boost house building of all types, including clearly affordable and accessible housing, given the overall supply is slowed down. I want to give you the reassurance as well that none of the emergency measures will remove the requirement to build 90% of the M42 accessible and adaptable homes and 10% of the wheelchair user homes, but we'll look at what we can do in terms of the City Hall Developer Investment Fund to make sure we guarantee more wheelchair user and accessible and adaptable homes, which are crucial for the reasons she set out.
And you mentioned the target of 10% of new homes to meet the wheelchair dwelling standard, yet last year only 6% was delivered. So will you, again, reaffirm that 10% target, strengthen it, ensure that every development meets this target in practice, not just on paper?
She's absolutely right. And again, the figures she said, I'm not saying they're wrong, but they're not the ones I've got. So let me take that away, because the 10% and 9% figures are a requirement for planning. And then building control can then go in and check. And if they've not met the requirements as set in planning, enforcement action can be taken. So I'm disappointed to hear those figures, but let me take them away and maybe work with her offline to sort this out.
I appreciate that. Now, disabled people, as you know best what accessible housing should look like and feel like, because they have to live with the consequences when it isn't delivered. And they are a unique stakeholder group, and co-producing housing policy with them may address some of these systemic concerns? Will you commit to genuine co-production with DDPOs as you review your London plan, involving them at every stage as opposed to just consultation when the plan is complete?
No, these plans, particularly where they affect this really important community, are co-designed, and we'll make sure that carries on being the case.
Thank you. And it would be great if we had a disability champion, because then we really would see co-production throughout all our policies. I hope you'll agree with me on that point as well. Yeah. Maybe not.